friends, welcome to another episode of In the Kitchen with Becca. Okay, so this week I'm tackling something that I love and a flavor that has been incredibly elusive to me for years. Specifically, since I was 16. Story time. When I was 16, I went to Italy, and one thing I really loved there, flavor-wise, was pistachio. Specifically, pistachio gelato. I just feel like we don't have that a lot here in the US, and so whenever I see it, pistachio something, I'll try it, and it always just tastes fake. It tastes like an extract. It tastes like just not what it was in Italy. A few months ago, we were here in Olympia, Washington. We went to the farmer's market and there was this French pastry stand called Left Bank, and they were selling pistachio macaroons. Now, macaroons are lovely, delightful, heavenly cookies sent from above, but I've never even attempted or thought to attempt making them. And so here is this wonderful flavor pistachio that I love, but it's been so elusive, and this wonderful little cookie. So I bought it, and it was so perfect. It was delicious. It was the right consistency. It didn't taste fake. Perfect. And so when I was making my list of things to cook next and just new things that are just things that I've never cooked before and that I love, that was on there. And then I get a phone call from my best friend Lexi Worley saying that her and her mom Andrea wanted to make macaroons over the holiday. And so I said, perfect. Hold yourself. I'll make them for you first. So, pistachio macaroons. Super excited to make this. Have never made it before. A flavor that I'm really excited about. So I'm excited. A few things I'm nervous about. I hear macaroons are really difficult to make. So I'm gonna try to follow the recipe as closely as possible and see if I can't pull off a miracle. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, so we are going to start here with our magical scale. We are going to weigh out 50 grams of pistachios, and we're going to roast them in a dry pan on medium heat until they get slightly aromatic and just a little toasty. You don't want to burn these. Next, we are going to prep our sheets. I have a shot glass, a black pen, and 2 pieces of parchment paper. I'm going to outline one of the shot glasses in equally spaced out rings. This is going to be our measure for when we pipe in the macaroon dough. Next, we are going to weigh the rest of our ingredients. We are going to have 50 grams of almond flour, 100 grams of egg whites. I do the tipsy-topsy method. A lot of people use water bottles or a bunch of different ways, but I like this the best. So 100 grams is about 3 eggs. The eggs I have were almost exactly 100 grams. Next, we're going to do 50 grams of regular sugar and 200 grams of powdered sugar. Next, we're going to dry out the eggs by microwaving it 5 seconds at a time for 20 seconds total. After each 5 seconds, you're going to give it a quick stir and put it back in. Is this necessary? I don't know, but it's in the recipe. Next, we're going to put our powdered sugar, our almond flour, and our now cooled roasted pistachios. We are going to pulse a few times and then blitz for about 3 to 4 minutes until everything is combined and our pistachios are very fine. You'll see it's done when it turns green and it starts coming together. Everything should be very fine. Next, it's time to drop it, lock it, and whisk it. We're going to add our egg whites and whisk it until it's just foamy. When it starts to foam, we're going to add the sugar and we're going to whisk it until it stiff peaks. No, yes. Once it stiff peaks, we are going to add half of our dry ingredients and quickly fold it in. When it's just combined, we're going to add the rest and combine until it drops like a ribbon and takes 30 seconds to go back in. Next, we're going to take a piping bag, in this case a freezer bag, and pour our macaroon dough in. Once that's prepped, we're going to take our sheets and pipe in the macaroons. So I did a pretty, honestly, clumsy job at this, but hey, it was my first time. So I piped it to fit the mold, but what I didn't know is that they would spread out, so they were a lot bigger than I intended, but oh well. The tray down to get any air pockets out, and we're going to leave these to rest until the dough does not come off on your finger anymore. Good to go. You're going to bake these in a 300-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to make our syrup for our Swiss buttercream. We're going to take 6 tablespoons of sugar and 2 tablespoons of water and bring that to a soft ball stage, which is about 215 to 230 degrees. While that is bubbling, we're going to whisk 1 egg until frothy. At the same time, we're going to use a hand mixer and cream together 6 tablespoons of butter. This is when I realized that this recipe might not be worth it. Then we're going to take our slightly cooled syrup, do a little bit to temper the eggs, and then slowly pour the rest of the syrup in with the whisked egg. We're going to let that whisk. Then once that's incorporated, we're going to add 1 tablespoon at a time of the creamed butter, which is 6 tablespoons.
1 eternity later.
This took forever to come together, and when it finally did come together, it was gross. I think the sugar was too hot, and the flavor was way too vanilla-y, and it was just not good. So I pulled the macaroons out, and they were underdone, they were cracked, but I still got 2 pretty okay ones.
Things are not going as planned. Batch 1, some problems. 1, I underbaked them almost entirely. So they fell and they were like raw on the inside, but I did get 1 perfect little cookie where it had the right texture in the middle and then didn't crack, but the flavor, perfect. So, I'm at a crossroads. Do I try it again? Do I just chalk it up to a failure? What do I do? I can't let things go. So, round 2, I'm on a mission to save these macaroons. And okay, so here, let me walk you through some of the new things I'm gonna do. So 1, I'm gonna continue roasting the pistachios, which I think really helped with the flavor. So I'm gonna roast the pistachios. Instead of making that weird, insanely, stupidly complicated, I think it's like a Swiss buttercream. No, I'm gonna just do my regular buttercream recipe, and I'm gonna grind up some more pistachios because my wonderful husband bought way too many pistachios, so now I'm just putting them in everything. One other thing I'm gonna do, so after I blitz the flours, like the ground pistachio, almond flour, and powdered sugar, I'm gonna sift those and take any larger chunks of pistachios out because I'm wondering if they're falling because the flour is too heavy, like it's not light enough. So I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna try it again because I have a problem losing. Round 2, mission to save these macaroons. Let's go.
Same process as before, but just sift the flour. Now we're gonna pipe straight up as opposed to doing ribbons around. And we're gonna leave enough space for them to spread. Next we're going into our buttercream. So we have new pistachios that we toasted, 50 grams. We're gonna do half a stick of butter, 1 cup of powdered sugar, cream those together, then add our pistachios. After that, we're gonna add about 2 to 3 more cups of powdered sugar and just a couple tablespoons of almond milk until it has the perfectly soft consistency. And now they're all cracked again. So I still got 2 pretty perfect ones. Look how pretty, but completely empty on the inside. You can literally see through it. So gently, I'm going to add my buttercream to it, get some final shots, try to cut through it, and have it just completely collapse. Still delicious though. Yep, just completely empty.
2 didn't go as according to plan as I would have hoped. So round 2, almost all of the cookies broke. Almost all of them. And the flavor obviously was still great. The flavor is not the problem in the first batch of the technique. Another thing I tried to fix was the first batch was very flat. And I thought it was because of how I piped it. So instead of just piping it in circles to fill the mold, instead I just went straight up with the piping bag to give more air. And then when I cooked it, they rose, they looked awesome. They were brown on the, a little, just slightly brown on the bottom, so I think the cook temperature, the cook time was good. And then I opened them and they were literally completely hollow. Completely hollow. Like here, I'm literally blowing through the macaroon. But basically, I just made delicious pockets of air. So what I did is I ripped it open and then I saw on the inside, it was raw. It was still like completely raw. So we had all of this, like this big air pocket and then just raw dough. And then a bunch of cracked macaroon cookies. Now, one thing I did find it oddly satisfying to just rip all the tops off of the cookies. I'll bring you nice and close. So here you see just like, let's see if you can peek in there. Yep. So still raw. And there's a giant air pocket. I mean, it's still delicious. I'm not gonna deny that. Raw, whatever. I don't care about salmonella. I've already ate E. coli. Whatever. While it's oddly satisfying to rip all the domes off the cookies, that's not what I want. So I'm just gonna leave this as a to be continued. Going to revisit this at a later date. Lexi and Andrea, if you make these before Christmas and find a solution, please let me know. But I will say my buttercream with the pistachio, amazing. I don't even know why anyone was trying with the other Swiss buttercream. When I rebuild my confidence, I will try this again and do some more research. I'm wondering if it's just a bad recipe, honestly. So we'll do a part 2 to this macaroon madness and go from there. Because cooking doesn't always work out how you want it to. Until next time, this has been In the Kitchen with Becca. If you have any recommendations or want me to try any recipes for you, hopefully they succeed. Next time, please let me know in the comments. Keep an eye on my Facebook, my YouTube channel. I'm gonna try to keep uploading twice a week. And I'll see you next time. Bye!
What is it, bud? You have an e-coin? You have an e-coin?
It's so good. Oh god. It's so good. Dang it! Didn't work! Dang it! I just made a mess. I don't know if that shot was worth it. So sticky.